Perfect. I would like to welcome everyone today. There are a lot of you that have joined us now, as well as I think a lot of you that are going to be watching this on YouTube later on. Today is July 29th, 2025. This is the Bridging Voice training on accessible gaming. And this is a very special training because it is our first kind of symposium type training, where the training will actually be led by our ALS ambassadors. And we will also be having some extra guests join us towards the end as well, some specialists on gaming and access. So I'm looking forward to that. Let's do a little housekeeping. If you can, please keep yourself muted until the end. Know again that this training is going to be about an hour for the training, and then we'll have about a half an hour for question and answer. So you are welcome to ask questions in the chat if you would like. If we can answer them on the spot, we may answer them on the spot. If not, our Bridging Voice team members, including Lane, will be kind of holding on to those for us to ask at the very end. Um, Abby will be our presenter today, and I am Trinity. And I cannot wait for this for today. I look forward to it. Remember to big importance. We are going to be sharing a lot of information with you today, a lot of resources. So I want you to know you do not need to write anything down. Know that we have a list of resources, and after this training, you will receive an email from Carly, and she will have all of the links of everything that you could possibly want that's amazing about this training available to you. And then also remember that all of our links are listed in our YouTube website as well. So on our YouTube channel, when you go to this training, all of the links will be there as well. And when we make changes to those links, they will stay evergreen and we will update those and you will have those updated on the YouTube site as well. So you're going to get an email with all of your links and resources, and it's going to be on YouTube for you to come back to at any point in time, or if you choose to share this with somebody else. All right. So today I am going to hand this training over to Abby. Abby has done an incredible amount of work working with our Bridging Voice ambassadors, and I am so excited for this training. So Abby, take it away.
Right. Thank you. As Trinity said, we are really excited for this training because it's kind of a new format that we would love to carry forward. And so I would say I'm less of a presenter and maybe more of an MC today. I'm excited to help facilitate our ambassadors being able to share with you during our accessible gaming symposium, which we've titled Game On. So let's get started. Okay. We always like to start with just a brief introduction to Bridging Voice for anyone who's not already familiar. We are a small but mighty team of 7 SLPs, 1 OT, and 3 programmers, plus our amazing executive director, Karina. And we are here to help anyone with ALS to communicate and use technology to the best of their abilities. So far, we've been lucky enough to work with over 4,700 people with ALS in all 50 states and in 24 countries. And we specialize in these areas listed here on the slide. So if you or someone you know has ALS and could benefit from our services, please feel free to reach out to us anytime. Our services are always free and available to anyone with ALS. All right, so let's jump right into our agenda. We are excited today to be focusing on gaming. So we're going to do a brief touch on some of the benefits of gaming for individuals who are using technology to communicate or access other technology and environmental controls. We'll then have our featured presentations about different accessible gaming options from our ambassadors. And then we'll list some equipment and resources that might be useful to you. So like Trinity said, that's where you'll see a bunch of different ideas that will all also come to you in our handout after this training. And we'll wrap up with our Q&A time. When we think about gaming, I think a lot of people think, oh, this is like a fun thing and it's an add-on and it's maybe not that important. But I think we really want to highlight today that gaming can have some huge benefits for quality of life. Uh, we want to always make sure that somebody can maintain the types of things that they've enjoyed doing. So just because you get a diagnosis like ALS or something like that shouldn't mean that you have to give up more and more and more things that you enjoy. And our goal is always to provide as much independence, as much control, and as much autonomy as possible. And gaming is one way that we think that that can happen for people. Gaming also can promote social connection, as you know, uh, both in person and over connected connections like Zoom or these types of video connections. You can play lots of different games with people. And so maintaining that social connection can be really fun and easy with gaming. Uh, Gaming can also be used as an accessibility skill development tool. So let's say you're learning to use eye tracking or switches or an adapted mouse or joystick for the first time. Sometimes learning it on the actual device you're going to be using for communication, driving a wheelchair, etc., might be tricky or might not be available to you. But being able to do it through gaming could be a fun and useful way to learn that kind of accessibility piece. And then it also provides your brain with cognitive exercise. We all need to keep our brain active by reading, doing puzzles, playing games. And so accessible gaming is a great way to help provide that type of exercise to your brain. All right, I don't want to talk forever, so I'm going to jump right into it. We've got some wonderful Bridging Voice ambassadors here with us today. Monica, Lynn, Juan, Will, and Michael will each be presenting a demo of a game that they enjoy and the way that they access it through their alternative technology. And then we're also going to be having somebody join us later named Drew. He's an accessible gaming ally who works with many individuals who use adapted gaming tools and techniques. And so he's going to be joining us later on to help during the Q&A portion of the presentation today. So we're so thankful for his help, and his contact information and websites are here and will also be shared with you in the follow-up resources after the presentation. So I want to say thank you to our ambassadors, and we're going to go ahead and jump right in. Our first presenter is Monica, and she uses her GridPad eye tracking device with a Lumini eye gaze camera, and she uses dwell selection, meaning she holds her eyes on the part she wants to select. I'm going to move on to her video because she does her own introduction there and let you guys watch how she plays pogo games using her eye tracker.
Hello, everyone. My name is Monica Martinez. I was diagnosed with bulbar onset ALS in March of 2023. Since then, I've been learning how to use my AAC device to communicate. Today, I want to show you how I make practicing with my device fun by playing games like Hidden Objects. It's not only entertaining, but it's also a great practice for improving eye control. Games like these help me stay sharp and engaged. And most importantly, they remind me that fun is still very much a part of my life. Okay, guys, as you can see here, I've already opened up the internet on my AAC device. And I'm going to go ahead and move this bar right here so I can type. I'm going to go into my games. First, I want to see if it's still under Google, because that's how I found it. A friend of mine recommended me to try the Pogo games for the AAC. So let's see if it's under. Okay. I don't see it, so I'm going to have to type it in. And it looks like I'm already signed into my account, so I'm going to move this bar again. Every time I move the bar,
So sorry, I was just going to see if I could turn the volume up. Let me get us back to where we were here.
I'm going to find my games. I'm going to go ahead and find the scroll button, and I'm going to scroll down until I see my game. We'll just do it medium speed. and I'll just look around here until I see my game, which I think I already see. Let's stop it, and I'm going to go ahead and put my left clicks back on. I'm going to go over here because there's a different one I play. We're going to go ahead, let's pick this cross-country adventure one. I'll go ahead and mute the sound. So I just come up here and exit out. And so this is the hidden objects game that I play. I like to play these easy games, and they would be good for beginners. So if you're a beginner, I like to play games like this. I would suggest find a really good hidden objects game you would like to play. So I have my left click over here on the left. I have it clicked on to where I don't have to go back and forth looking at the object and looking at my left click. So I'm going to move this out of my way. Close that and move. On the left side, as you can see, is a list of items that you have to find that is in the picture. So since I moved this bar here, I'm going to go ahead and set my left clicks. There we go. So now I don't have to worry about that side anymore. And I found the pineapple, so I'm going to click on the pineapple. If this zooming in and out is too slow, you can go to your settings, and then I go to eye gaze settings, and then right here you can make it shorter dwell or longer dwell. The more zoom or the less zoom, I'm going to click more, and one more time so it's a little faster. Shorter dwell, I'm going to do that 2 times, and let's try it out and see how it works. I'm going to reset my left clicks. And
Sorry, can you all still hear it? I think, what happened here? Are we frozen? Let's see.
Yeah, we can hear
Oh, you can.
you.
Okay, great.
We can hear
let's see,
you.
muzzle and squirrel.
Okay, gotcha. There we go. I think we're back. Thank you.
I see the squirrel. Egg, duck toy, and harp, which I just saw there's the egg. So it looks like it reset, but I went ahead and I was blinking because I didn't take my eye drops. Let me try this again. I think Since I've been moving around, I may have to recalibrate my eyes. Okay, let's see. We have a decorative star. Okay, I have blinked and it didn't reset, so let me come up here. This is why the eye drops are important. Maybe you want to put some eye drops. I would do it 15 minutes before you start playing the game. There's the decorative star. Maybe if I get a better, closer look on the, let's see if I can see anything. Okay, nothing over there. Then we'll look over here. Nope, nothing over there. There it is. And that's how you play hidden objects.
All right. Monica, thank you so much. I just want to call everybody's attention to the videos. Not only is it a great place to see someone in action, but all of our ambassadors have shared some really important tips that can be useful while you're playing games. For example, Monica mentioned eye drops can be important when you're using eye tracking, and she also talked about you changing the side of the eye gaze bar, setting the clicks to stay on, changing the zoom. So if you come back and watch this again later in the recording as well, pay close attention to those tips that everybody's giving in terms of not only how to play the games, but how to make them efficient and effective too. Okay, next up, Lynn is going to give us a live demo today. So he has built his own two-in-one custom computer, and he's added the PCI 5 eye gaze camera with TD control software. And so we're going to turn it over to Lynn to screen share. I'm going to go ahead and stop mine. And then he's going to give us a demo of how he uses his eye gaze to activate different Xbox games and Microsoft games. Go ahead, Lynn, whenever you're ready.
So this is my Windows 11 desktop. I'm running the Tobii PCI 5 add-on for eye gaze. Here I'm going to run Xbox for PC. And we can see I already have queued up my favorites. Here we're going to play Solitaire. This is a regular Xbox game. Nothing fancy. So it takes a little while to load, but it's not that long. So here's the opening screen. 5 different solitaire games. Probably everybody is familiar with Klondike. I'm gonna fire up Tri-Peaks. I usually play on the harder levels, but you don't have to. The easy level is easy. So here, I have to get rid of all of these cards. By playing a card one up or one down for what's on the bone pile. You can see all I have to do is select the card. If you do something wrong, it'll give you hell. So I'm gonna switch out to another game. This one might be familiar. Free cell. Here I have to move all the cards in the foreground up here to the 4 piles. This is an easy game, but on Master, it's pretty hard. Here we can see I'm playing against the clock. You have other ways that you can play against other people. This shows there's 270,000 people playing today. And it will randomly assign you to a pool of 50 people in your group. So this is standard Klondike, but you're playing against time and 50 other people. You don't have to play against other people. You
This
can
is great,
play
Lynn.
by yourself.
Lynn, while you're playing a little bit longer, can I just describe how your clicking works for anybody who hasn't seen TD control before?
Okay, this is standard TD control.
Absolutely. So you can see when with the standard TD control, when Lynn wants to click on something, he looks at it and that a little circle pops out where he can then choose how he wants to click. So for example, if he was going to click on this one, he can either do a single click, a double click. There's also options for click and drag. So that's what when he clicks on that small circle and the bigger option with all the little circles comes up, each of those circles represents a different way that he could click on that item.
That is standard Toby Dynavox interaction. Even if you have a Toby unit.
And Lynn, can you talk a little bit? I remember when we were practicing this, you had mentioned that sometimes you like to play the harder games or the harder levels because it evens the playing field a little bit. Can you talk about that?
Well, there's a little bit of time delay for me to use the eye gaze. That gives regular folks using a mouse an advantage on clicking on things. But at the harder levels, that advantage goes away and it's mostly on your brain power.
A great tip, Lynn. And we have about 1 more minute. Did you want to show Mahjong today as well?
Yeah, let me remember. Gotta get out of here.
Okay.
It's like all media, they want you to stick. So this is a different solitaire, Mahjong. It's an Asian game where you match the tiles. The goal is to get all the tiles off the board. There's a whole bunch of other Microsoft Word games, Minesweeper. It's all free. So here you get to pick what group of tiles. So you see, some are grayed out, some are bright. So you've got to get rid of the tiles on the top. That's a square rectangle. And I gotta match it to this rectangle. And it goes off playing field. As you get rid of the tiles, you go deeper into the tile field. Here you're just playing yourself, keeping track of your time. And it gives you a score, but it's no pressure. If you want to take a time out, go do something else, you can come back to it later. If you notice, there's a little alarm. I scored some points for playing. You could use these points to buy stuff.
That's great, Lynn. This is really cool. And I'm glad you mentioned that this is free, that somebody can make an account with Microsoft for free and play any of their games. That's fantastic. Okay, thank you, Lynn. And actually, Juan, I'm going to start the screen share again. And Juan is also going to be playing the Pogo games, similar to what Monica was playing. And so we wanted to also mention, and Juan mentioned in the chat that these are free. So Pogo Games is another free website where you can go and play different games there. So Juan's demo is going to be with a Tobii Dynavox I series. And he's also using TD control, similar to what Lynn was using, but with continuous click mode turned on. So in the video, you'll see the difference between those two modes, the traditional interaction menu mode that Lynn was using and the continuous click mode that Juan is going to use. So I'm going to go ahead and
Abby,
skip to his
before
video.
you start, sorry, before you start Juan's video, I just wanted to mention again, there are lots of great tips that are being shared in the chat if you have access to that. And a couple of people were explaining, and I know Juan uses TD Control as well. So the software itself is TD Control, and what TD Control is Tobii Dynavox Windows System Control. Thank you for flagging that for us. And then Lynn, I also wanted to give you, you got a shout out in the chat. Patrick was saying, Lynn, you use the just target feature in TD Control like a pro. So impressed at your accuracy and speed. So great to see.
Thank you. Playing games will help you get better.
That's so true.
Absolutely. And then somebody else also just commented too, using that adjust target manually, that setting enables you to have that super precise control that you did so beautifully, Lynn.
For sure. And Juan uses that adjust target too. You guys will get to see that again here. That's great. Thank you, Lane. Those, yeah, keep us posted about chats. They're coming in. That's awesome. Okay, let's go ahead with Juan's video.
In the last demo, we saw Lynn using the traditional TD control clicking mode with the interaction menu. In this mode, the user looks at what they want to click on, then opens the interaction menu and selects how they want to click on that item. While gaming, it can sometimes be helpful to change into continuous mode, which removes the step of the interaction menu and automatically repeats whatever click type you've selected. To turn it on, look below the screen toward the camera until the off-screen menu appears. In the bottom right corner, activate the Modes menu. Continuous mode is a circle of white arrows with a yellow plus in the middle. Now, when you look and click, it repeats a left click each time. Here one is demoing how to play a game using this repeated left-click mode. You can see that Juan has another setting activated that's called Adjust Target. When he clicks on something, a circle pops up showing him a zoomed-in view of the area he clicked on. Then he can click again within that zoomed circle so that he can adjust the mouse to get more precise clicks each time. This setting is available by looking below the screen to pull up the off-screen menu while in continuous mode. Then turn on the circle with 4 arrows pointing out of it. Keep watching to see how Juan uses this Adjust Target mode to help play his game more precisely and accurately. In this next game, one will also use a double click. To add double click into the continuous mode click options, look below the screen to pull up the menu, then look at the 3 dots, followed by the settings gear. Look at the right arrow to see more options, then open the customization menu. Open the Customize menu for continuous mode, and then look at an empty button with the plus sign. Choose Double Click and Add. The X in the upper right corner will exit the menu. Now, if you look below the screen while in continuous mode, you'll see double click in your click options. Wherever you look on the screen and click, you will now get a double click. In this game demo, Juan starts out using left click to navigate the menus and play the game. Again, notice how he uses the automatic setting for Adjust Target so he can precisely select very small targets on the screen.
While we're watching Juan play, I'll also say, again, in the chat, Patrick was saying that he just learned today that
Here
you
is where
can
you'll
use
see
the, of
Juan switch into double click mode. He looks below the screen to get the off-screen menu and chooses the double click option.
course, I chose to speak at that point. But he just learned that you can use the Adjust Target tool when you're in the repeat clicks. And he was just saying, thank you, Juan, for sharing that with everybody as well.
Later in the game, he uses the same action to switch back to a single left click and continues playing. Here Juan starts to left click, but realizes it won't work for what he needs. He uses the back button on the right side of the screen to cancel that click, then switches to double click again. Juan's third game requires use of a click and drag mouse movement. This is also one of the click options in the off-screen menu for continuous mode. Once activated, you would first look at the item you want to drag and click on that. Then you look to where you want to drag the item. You'll see a yellow dotted line showing its path. Click again to activate the hold and drag action. Let's watch Juan in action using the click and drag function. Notice how the Adjust Target Zoom feature is present for both of Juan's clicks. When he does the first click, it lets him precisely select the item he wants to drag. Then on the second click, he can accurately target the empty space where he wants to drag it into.
All right. So as you can see here, Juan is using a whole bunch of different types of clicks, and he's using a bunch of different tools within that, like that zoom feature or that adjust target feature. We want to make sure everybody knows too that these demos with TD control show how it works in this software, but most Windows softwares have features like this. For example, in Monica's, she talked about how when she turns on the left click, if she looks at it twice, it turns on what's called sticky left click, which is similar, and they call that's their name for that kind of continuous click mode. So if you're using a different software to access your Windows device, you should check the settings because often there are options like these across softwares. All right, next up, we're going to have Will's demo. Will is going to be using his Tobii Dynavox Pilot device with eye gaze for moving around the screen, and he uses a Glasshouse bite switch for his click activation. And he's going to narrate his video while it's playing today, so he'll give you more details about how the bite switch works and how he activates games. Will, I'm going to get your video ready. Will's video includes 3 different games. There's a beginning game that's a card game, an intermediate 8-ball pool game, and a more advanced Wings of Heroes flight game. And Will, are all 3 of these games free to download on the iPad?
Yes, they're all free on the Apple in the App Store
Okay,
for the
great.
iPad. Yeah.
If you're ready, I'll go ahead and start your video.
All right, all right. Hello, everyone. So, I currently use Vice Whip attached to my Tobii. So I want to demonstrate how I do a simple tap. So tap is basically bite, and you can focus on every letter to perform just a left click. Kind of similar to using your mouse, left click on your mouse. So I can focus on each letter and type and tap. The second feature of a vice switch is to double click, which will be coming up next. So if I want to double click, I can select a word and double click. You see me do it twice. So I double click and the menu comes up and I do it again. This is performance. So the third one that I use mostly is action that was long press. So if I want to do a left click, I just long press, hold down the bite switch, and the left click comes up. Sometimes I will close my eyes and perform a left click for about 1 second, and it just comes straight up. The next one is drag and drop, which I use mostly in all my games. So you see me move the menus around, and I can drag and drop by just, I will hold down my bite switch and just move my eyes all the way around. So you see me select really quickly, and I can hold down my bite switch and move whatever I want around the screen. So it allows me to play games that are like multiplayer, that are time games. So for instance, the first game right now I'm showing you how to navigate left and right, up and down throughout my iPad. So if you focus on the circle, my eyes are moving up and down, and I just hold the bite switch. So it allows me to scroll really quick and double tap and drag. So my first game I'll be presenting is oh, I'm scrolling through my apps, okay. The first game would be Spade with it. A multiplayer game, I think you have 15 seconds to play. So after I make my bid, I just basically drag and drop. And my player should have played clubs afterwards, but you can see we were getting our butt beat at the beginning, but we ended up making our bid because I had 6 speeds and we won. So
And
yeah,
Will,
you
for
see
this
how
one,
uh-huh.
this one, do you have to drag the card out or can you just click on it?
Oh, I
Tap on it?
drag it. I click on the queen and I drag up, but you can double click.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, you can double click, and for a lot of the puzzle games that I use, like Township, Poker, Spades, Pet Saga, I basically double click or I drag and drop. And I can play them pretty quickly. So yeah, we won all these books, so we make our bid. So you can play your timed out. The next game will be my pool game that I love playing. This one is more precise. I think you get about 15, 20 seconds. You see the timer up top and the green just going around. So as I move the cursor, the cue stick, I can, you see the orange circle, I basically move my eyes up and down and I hold it to move the stick in the precise location. And then I go up top and I hit my cue to do a backspin or left, right. So this pool game is pretty precise to what most games play, what most pool should be. Yeah, so you see it's time, but I'm pretty accurate with using my eyes and holding down the bite switch to move uh the pool stick in the right uh location.
And Will, for somebody who's never used something like this before, I I think you said or you likened it before to almost like using a mouse. So when you're using a regular mouse, your hand is moving it and your finger is clicking. So you have kind of two movements going on. And for
Exactly.
you, that's happening here, right? Your eyes are moving the cursor and you're fighting to click essentially.
Right, my eyes are like moving the mouse, and my finger is like my bite switch is clicking. So as you can see, game, you see the picture of the small plane in the bottom. So if I hold down and drag my mouse around, I move the plane left, right, up, down, and I try to get to a point where I can shoot, and then I have to hurry up and hit the bullet icon, and that allows me to shoot. I just started playing this game probably about a month or two ago, and I gotten pretty advanced in it. So the plane at the bottom basically drives the plane. You have a shutter that controls the speed of the plane on the right side. The bullets and the on the left on the right side bottom shoots, and then you have when you get into more advanced planes, then more icons will pop up. So you saw me just drop a bomb. So you have more icons that come up when you get to more advanced planes.
We should have warned people if they get motion sick, they shouldn't watch too closely.
I just found a take game that's really good too. That has on screen um controls like the airplane game. So
That's
uh,
fantastic. I love this. And I love the tip, or I love the point you make of like finding lots of variety of games because some may be more simple and some may be more advanced, and they all help you kind of learn and practice. But a variety will keep you busy, right? You don't get bored.
right, right. There's some shooting games, first person shoot 'em, but it's more like you wait for the deer. It's like a hunting game. It's you're not really controlling the person moving. You're really following a gameplay, but you still have like option to zoom in with the rifle and shoot and kill. So you can do headshots with those games too. And a lot of those are on the Apple Play Store in the game and the
Okay,
Apple Arcade. Yeah.
awesome. Thank you so much, Will. This was a really great demo.
Yeah,
All
fantastic. Well, I just want to, before
Go
we
ahead.
move on, um, Antoinette added another byte switch option. She was just saying that you need an interface with Tapio to plug the switch into, and then you'll need to program the switch as your click with the eye gaze. Um, and then Shawn said Will is extremely fast with his byte switch, but these actions are also available with Dwell and the assistive touch, but it'll take more time. And then Antoinette asked, I'm still learning all the options with the eye gaze on an iOS. Is switch to click an option with the iOS eye gaze? And where could you find that? Which we may hold off on that to the Q&A, I don't know. And then Juan mentioned you can also use the switch on a Tobii device. The Windows device is what Juan was referring to. Shawn said, yes, we'll set up is dwell disabled, and then the assistive touch settings for the Tobii Dynavox device is there to configure the TD Pilot switch ports.
I was gonna also add. I just added a glass house where I got my bike switch from, but they have finger switch, blink switch. They have other switches that you can connect directly into the port of your AT device.
Yeah, and
That's really
I did include the link for the glass house as well as the link to the switches that Antoinette was speaking of in our reference guide. So those will be there. Last quick question before we move on to Michael, just in the willingness of time. Will, can you please share again the name of the airplane game that you were just playing?
was wings over something.
It's called Wings of Heroes.
Wings of Heroes. Great. And I'll make sure to get that in our list too.
Okay.
Awesome. So like Trinity said, all these resources will come in that follow-up email after. So you'll have access to all these links. All right. Well, Michael, our final presenter today is Michael, and he is using an adapted mouse and controller with voice commands. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Michael. Michael, you can talk about your Twitch streaming, and then just tell me when you want me to advance each slide.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Michael, and I have had ALS for 3 years now. I do still have a good voice, so I tend to lean on that for my gaming. It affects my arms and my legs the most, so I don't have a lot of control in my arms, but I do have some in my thumbs and my fingers. So I'll show you how I utilize those. I'm using voice control software. The first one is Voice Attack. It is free to try out, so please do so. And then the other software is the Xbox Adaptive app, which is free in the App Store. And that lets you control and remap the Xbox controllers. And just in case anybody knows, since Xbox is made by Microsoft, anything that you see that is Xbox will definitely automatically work in Windows as well. And the depending on what your need is, you can adjust and change out those adaptive controls for what works best for you. Next slide. The game we're going to be playing is Satisfactory. It's available on Steam and Epic. It is in a style of first-person shooter game, which might be, what a lot of people are looking for, but it's a factory building game, so there is no time constraints. You're not going to get shot and killed in, a half a second. If you're playing with my son. But you play at your own pace. It's a very leisurely game. It's enjoyable, and there's a lot of planning and thinking, so it's a great game to kind of stretch your mind a little bit. And you can see the factories can get quite large in here. So next slide. Here's a video of me playing. The first part of it is going to be so you can see what I'm doing. In my right hand, I have my mouse, and I can't click the mouse buttons, but I can move them. I have the sensitivity set up as high as possible, so you can see I don't actually have to move it very much. In the other hand, I have the Xbox Adaptive Control joystick. It is not Bluetooth. You do need to connect it through USB-C into an Xbox controller. And then that controller can be Bluetooth connected to your computer. The joystick I'm using as my WASD key, and the mouse I'm using to look around. All of the keyboard functions, I'm using my voice and voice commands through the voice control software. And if I'm quiet for a second, you can probably hear me. Of course, I don't talk in a spot where I'm not talking. But trust me, if you listen, I'm using voice control to activate menus, to select options. Basically, any command that's on the keyboard, I can do with my voice. This is also pretty adaptive. So a lot of the times, I do not use the joystick because I do need help getting it in my hand in order to move it. And instead, I will do WASD commands through voice. And I have several different commands where I can say walk, run, back, left, right. Even I can do walk for 1 second, walk for 2 seconds, a small walk, so I can have fine tuning with my voice as to how far I go. And I usually use my voice for it, and I only use the mouse just to move left or right. But even that is adaptive. You could use your eye gaze in a lot of Steam games to actually look around. So you could replace the mouse movement with your eye gaze, and as you move your eyes, you will actually look around on the screen. So you could do it completely hands-free if you wanted to. And you can see here, I'm building a little factory. They get larger than this, but this is a small version. And all of those pop-ups, I activate all those by voice. Open. 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 Here I'm selecting what each of these little machines do. These are going to be making some iron plates in the game. Open. It starts off very simple like this, where you get to make iron plates and screws and things out of charcoal. And eventually you build up to where you're making nuclear power, so it gets pretty crazy pretty quickly. There is, just while you're watching this too, couple things about Steam. You can actually stream on Steam. So a lot of the times I can actually play on my desktop that has a bigger video card, but I can sign into my account on my tablet and I can stream it to my tablet, so I can use my eye gaze to move around with it. So it's Steam has some really nice settings in there as far as what is compatible with eye gaze, which game. Each game is different depending on how the author wrote the game.
Swipe down.
And you can actually search in Steam for Toby Gaming, and they will list games that are specifically written to be that can be controlled with eye gaze.
That's a great tip, Michael.
And for those who think eye gaze is a disadvantage, there are players without disabilities that use eye gaze because they like to be able to move around with it without having to use other controls.
Swipe up.
Oh, that's so interesting. That's really cool. Okay.
Build.
And you can hear really quietly your voiceover or your voice control.
And then I will make a little container, and my steel plates will go in the container.
On the wrong thing.
And I think we should point out too that your background in Zoom
Mode.
is also your world, right?
Mode.
Yes. I
love
do
that.
have the world record for the most amount of nuclear power plants, 640 nuclear power plants that work in the game, which is a lot. So that's it. That's a full working factory done without touching a keyboard. And I said it does use a joystick, but feel free, you could switch out the joystick for voice commands, and you could switch out your mouse for eye gaze if you want.
Incredible, Michael. I love that. Okay. So Michael's gonna go through some slides with additional resources here. So Michael, again, just let me know when you're ready to go through each one, when you want me to move on.
Okay, so the first is the Xbox accessory app. If you use that, it's free on the PC, and that just lets you remap your keys if you want to on your Xbox controllers. There is another software called WASD, which is a third-party software that is more powerful, but these two are not compatible. You can't use them together because obviously you can't remap things twice. But there are two different softwares available out there to use. And then next. This is the 8-bit BitDo Lite SC wireless controller. It is a full compatible Xbox controller, and I like it better because it's flat, so you can sit it down straight and it won't wobble. The keys are very, very easy to press. For example, I can't push the buttons on my mouse. I don't have that much control, but I can push these. So they're very light to the touch. And it does come with 2 large buttons as well. Comes with a 3.5 millimeter jacks, so you can plug in accessories like different switches, and it can be controlled through that. It is Bluetooth as well. And then next. This is Microsoft's adaptive controller. It's a pretty large pad. You can see the 2 large buttons to make it real easy to push. And on the back side of it, you can see it has 19 3.5 millimeter jacks, so you can make a very customized switch-based system. Even comes with connectors for headset jack. It's Bluetooth compatible, and it's fully remappable. So you can do almost any combination of switches and accessible gaming accessories attached to this. So it's pretty nice. Next, this is the one that I use, the Microsoft Adaptive Joystick. It does have to be connected to an Xbox controller. You can't connect it directly to the computer, but you can connect it to a controller, and then that will connect it to your computer. I like this one because it's very, very light. It's very easy to move. It takes me almost no energy. It's very fits in your hand very well, and it does have a threaded mount on the bottom, as you can see from the pictures, so you can mount this to a wheelchair, and as you can see with the one photo, even use it with foot control. Someone's using it with their toe. It's also remappable. It does come with 7 buttons, including the WASD, but the joystick is the primary function that I use this for. Next. And this one, obviously, this is more expensive, so this may not be for everybody, but I just want to show it. It is out there. This is a full mouth controller. It works through puff and through tongue movements. You can put it in your mouth and use this as a full controller for your game. Again, I realize it's expensive for a game controller, but it is out there and it is available. And then lastly, I did not use this one in the example, but this is a great device made by Microsoft again. It's their Adaptive Hub. And this works great with almost any type of adaptive controller. It has, I believe, 5 3.5 millimeter jacks that you can plug in any type of switch that you want. It has 3 USB ports. It has Bluetooth in and Bluetooth out to your computer. 3 different user profiles, and up to 3 different Bluetooth connections, so you can actually have this connected up to 3 different computers at the same time. So it's very, very versatile and lets you connect almost anything you want to your computer to make this your own device. Next. And then the Microsoft Accessories Center is the app free online through the App Store that you can control this. And once you have that on, it lets you program the devices and remap the buttons and everything you would like with this as well. And then this is the WASD remapping software. This is a third-party version that takes Xbox controllers and literally lets you remap it not just to the controls that are normally available, but to any function on your computer you want. So you can make this your mouse, you can make it open applications, close windows, maximize windows. It lets you remap it to virtually anything that you want, so it's very useful. But it is not compatible with Microsoft's remapping software, because again, you don't want to have 2 going at the same time. And then lastly, we didn't demo this, but this is a great gaming tool. It's called Mill Mouse. It works in conjunction with your eye gaze device. It's a software application that will take your eye gaze software and translate it into the mouse on the screen, similar to what you've seen before. But the advantage of this one is it lets you make these little transparent buttons that create an overlay over your game, as you can see in the photo. And then you can program those buttons to be anything in the game you want. So you could play a first-person shooter game with these overlays custom built the way you want to be WASD, shoot, run, blow people up, whatever they have in there. It will let you program it to whatever you want that button to do, and they're instant. So it's very fast. There's no dwell. The second you look at that button, it automatically activates it. So you can move very quickly with this, and you can place them anywhere you want on the screen in any size. So this is another great option that's out there that lets you play in games, any game you want.
That's awesome, Michael. And the YouTube link here will be in the resources after and has a demo of how this works as well, if it's helpful for people to see. I'm not going to go through these in too much detail because I want to get to the Q&A part, but we do have some resources and links here for other adaptive gaming websites and resources and tools, including our Bridging Voice custom games. And on the second page, we also have links to Drew's organizations. Drew is here and he's going to help answer some questions. So please feel free to refer back to these websites for additional resources. So where do we go next? What we want to wrap up with is just kind of starting a discussion because we don't have the answers. Obviously, our ambassadors know so much, but each person kind of learns their own bits and pieces, and then where does that go? So what we'd love to do or see come out of this presentation and this symposium today is that we all start kind of connecting and developing ways to help others learn about these cool tools and ways to communicate. So some of our ideas were maybe somebody could help develop some formalized education programs that would help allied professionals who are supporting gamers with different abilities and kind of spread the word about what's available. We also had a pre-submitted question from Liz Stanley about leveraging online communities, and she's wondering if anyone has interest in facilitating a gaming club for their Creative Pursuits program. So we've included her information here as well. So we're hoping, like I said, that this is going to get us all started with kind of making the connections in the community that can help people access this important gaming information. In conclusion, we want to say, one, anyone can do this. We hope that this presentation has shown you that even if you're at a very starting level, if you want to play games and you want a way to access those things through alternative technology, there are lots of options out there. You can start simple and grow as you learn. As we said in the beginning, there are many benefits to the quality of life of someone who can access these things. And then we want to really thank our ambassadors and Drew for joining us today. You guys are the true experts here. Your lived experience and the knowledge you've gained just by trying and figuring out what tools work for you is so essential. And it's a great model for anyone else out there who is scared to start trying this but wants to. So without further ado, we're going to definitely just get to the Q&A part because we want to thank you all and let you continue to share your knowledge. A couple housekeeping things before we do that. If you don't know about our open office hours, every Tuesday at 4:30 Eastern, 1:30 Pacific, we host an open office hours where anybody can join and communicate or talk about any questions or ideas they have. So please come join us after this session today and any other Tuesday. We also have several upcoming trainings for the rest of the year. In August, we're going to be talking about eye tracking calibrations. In September, about our innovations updates. In October, we're going to be talking with young people with ALS, and they're going to be sharing about their own journeys. And then in November, we're going to be talking more about mobile communication apps. So please scan this QR code if you'd like to join. The follow-up links will also include the link for where you can sign up for any of our future trainings. Our past trainings, including today's, are all on our YouTube channel, so please go there to review and watch the old recordings and access any resources for these trainings. And then finally, Trinity's going to drop a link in the chat where you can get a professional development certificate if you'd like to be able to use this training as a continuing education moment. So please look in the chat for that and email trinity@bridgingvoice.org if you have any questions about that.
Don't forget to stay until half past the hour to get your full professional development, please.
Perfect. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop the screen share. And we did receive some pre-submitted questions. So we're going to start with those first. Trinity has that list, so I'll turn it over to you to start with those questions.
You have the list, Miss Abby.
I have the list.
Yeah, we sent it to you in your email. Do you
Okay, let me pull
recall?
it back up here. I do have it somewhere. Okay,
Thank
so
you all so much for all of your questions. While Abby is grabbing that list, let's go ahead though and grab a quick question that we had. Shawn had a question. Are there many games where hover is used for action? And Michael, why don't you help us with this one? And I guess Mill Mouse is trying to bridge that gap of the native hover. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly right. Mouse is trying to fix that. There aren't a lot out there where it's just hover based or specifically designed for it. But because, like I mentioned before, that non-disabled gamers are starting to get into eye gaze to gain an advantage, more games are starting to recognize that and actually program compatibility with eye gaze, which is helping us out a lot. So there, I haven't seen a lot out there, but there are a lot that do work with eye gaze specifically. But
And
hover,
then, yeah. And then Shawn went on to say that that he has built a progressive hover-based game for iPad, particularly for the TD Pilot called Precision Pop. It is not yet available on the App Store, but I'm happy to send out a test flight invite to anyone interested. You just need to email Shawn. And if you don't know who Shawn is, you should know who Shawn is and the world especially. So please reach out to him. His email is in our chat and it is sexton@alumni.nd.edu. And I will make sure, Shawn, that your email gets into our links, okay? Let's address Omar's and then we'll go on to the other ones because Omar, I love this, what you have to share with us. So I'm going to go ahead and read this out loud for people who are unable to read the chat. Good afternoon. This is from Omar. I'm a PRC ambassador and I'm reaching out from assistance regarding a mouth quad stick for my Xbox. The Xbox was a wonderful gift I received earlier this year, but I found it challenging to purchase quad stick on my own. Every time I try, it's always sold out. I see Drew shaking his head. So Drew, I may be coming to you. So let me finish this.
Yeah.
I would greatly appreciate any advice or suggestions on where I might find a quad stick in stock, or if there are any upcoming restock or alternative purchasing options that you might be aware of. Thank you for your help. I was already the setup as Michael is using, but it didn't work well with my CP. So I just want to quickly take a moment to say that there are a ton of amazing individuals on this call with technology resources, obviously use resources. Omar, thank you so much for your question. Drew, I'm going to ask you to answer this because Drew, we asked Drew to join us today as one of our allied awesome professionals. So, Drew, go for it if you don't mind.
Yeah, and I agree. Great question. I get this question a lot. So, with the quad stick, so Fred, who makes the quad stick, he only can make a limited number each week. So he only puts a limited number out each week, and he puts them on sale at 12 p.m. Eastern time every Monday. So they sell out quickly, but usually, if you're able to get on the quad stick website at 12 p.m. Eastern time on Monday, between 12 and 1, you'll usually be able to order and get one. Otherwise, they pretty much sell out within the hour. The only other way to get one is there are some organizations, rehab organizations, and then some of the organizations I'm involved with, we do have like a special way to get quad sticks outside of that. So if you're working with one of those organizations, that's another way. But the best way as an individual to get it is to just get on around 12 p.m. Eastern time on Monday, and you should be able to order a quad stick.
I
Or
have
does that help with your answer?
SENT sent.
Great.
Out.
A good inside scoop.
SOK ME some. Email. Emails. To them. But I have never REC receive AAREP reply. I have sent out some emails to them, but I have never received a reply.
Yeah. So Fred gets pretty busy with emails. The best way to reach him is usually the Quad Stick forum and posting a message on there. But for ordering one, the best way is just to get on during that time span. Sometimes they're a little bit later than that 12 o'clock time, like 12:15ish. He opens it up. So as long as you kind of week by week just check in around 12 and 1, and you might have to refresh the computer quite a bit. There should be some that pop up on there around that time. But email with Fred is typically a little bit tricky just because he's so busy. But the Quad Stick forum is a good way to get in contact with him. And then ordering it is around kind of that time span between 12 and 1 on Mondays.
Okay.
Great. Thank you so much, Drew. Okay, do we
Thanks.
want to go into our previously posted questions? We want to make sure we get
Sure.
those addressed. And then we'll jump
Yeah.
into
So
other questions that may come up.
let's start with Monica and Juan. You guys were going to tell us one of the pre-submitted questions is, what's your favorite game that you can play with someone, whether in person or virtually? So Monica, can I come to you first? And then Juan, do you want to type your message out?
Yeah, so in person, I love the old school games, Candyland, Uno, Monopoly. Monopoly is my favorite by far. Virtually, um, Solitaire is good. And there's another one, pool. I could play pool with people, so those are my favorite ones.
That's great. And I think having a variety again is such a great way to stay connected with everyone.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Awesome. Juan, I should have asked beforehand if you want to unmute and share with your voice, or if you want to put your answer in the chat. So you can, oh, there you go.
The current game I play online and in person is chess. Microsoft has a free version that allows you to play with real opponents. You can also purchase a chess game for your computer. You can also play for free at https://www.chess.com. So I play against my big brother when he comes to visit. We play on my rare marble chessboard. I have had it for over 25 years. The only bad thing about playing with my brother is a game can take days.
Oh, that's amazing. That's so cool, Juan. Oh, and your chess set sounds beautiful. Okay, great. For this next question that was pre-submitted, I'm going to come to Michael first and then to Drew. Somebody asked, what is your preferred affordable joystick for the XAC, and how do you mount it?
So again, mine is the one that you see in there, the Microsoft Xbox adaptive joystick. I really do like it as far as how easy it is to move the joystick around. I don't have a lot of movement in my thumb, but I can move it fairly easily. And the ergonomics of it, it fits in my hand really well because I can't really grip anything and hold something. But because it naturally kind of like curl my fingers around it in the shape of it, I can hold it with almost no pressure. And it does mount as well. So I really like that it's mountable for someone who can't hold it. And then they'll be able to use it that way. So that's my favorite. The only downside is I wish it was full Bluetooth, but it does have to plug in USB-C to an actual controller, and then that controller can be Bluetooth. But I wish it was Bluetooth by itself.
And yeah, so and joysticks kind of are very individualized based off of obviously what a person's going to need as far as if they want a smaller, lighter touch joystick versus a larger joystick. I would say my two favorite companies to get adaptive joysticks from, number one is 7 Mile Mountain. It's a company on Etsy. They have really good options for joysticks. I like their like dome shaped joystick. I find that especially for like a larger joystick, it's fairly easy for people to move. And it's pretty responsive to in games. But 7 Mile Mountain's probably one of my favorite companies to get adaptive joysticks from for the Xbox adaptive controller. And then Designs by Greer is another really good company that sells joysticks for the Xbox adaptive controller as well. Those have like 3D printed model joysticks, and they have a bunch of different variations as well. On the Gaming Readapted website, under the Xbox adaptive controllers page, there's a list of all of the sites that sell joysticks that are compatible with the Xbox adaptive controller. And there's more expensive versions too for someone who needs more individualized lighter touch joysticks. And then some of the ones I discussed as well, but that has a really good comprehensive list of all the different companies that sell joysticks and switches with the Xbox adaptive controller. But those two I mentioned are probably my favorites.
And
That's really
Antoinette
helpful.
put the 7 Mile Mountain in the chat, and then we'll also link up to that design by Greer as well. Thanks, Drew.
Awesome, that's great. And actually, Antoinette submitted a question ahead of time too, that I'm wondering if Drew, you can touch on, and then also Michael, or if others have ideas or thoughts on this. Antoinette's question, and Antoinette, feel free to unmute and expand on what you meant by this, but you noted a question about potential conflicts with different hardware manufacturers. So I'm wondering, are you wondering about compatibility?
I guess what I'm seeing is that obviously people with ALS, because of eye gaze, are focusing on PC and app-based games because you have all these options of how to access it. So I guess in general, are people finding that if someone was like a PS5 user or something, who kind of is emotionally attached to their controller, is the professional recommendation to let's move towards PC based games or app based games so that you have all those accessibility options, or is there some magical thing that I'm not aware of?
Yeah, so that's an awesome question. So, and I get that a lot, especially because even for something simple like if somebody wants the Xbox adaptive controller, but they want a game on the PlayStation 5, obviously those aren't directly compatible with each other, but there's a lot of workarounds now to get different adaptive controllers or adaptive setups working on different consoles or different interfaces using adapters. An adapter is essentially a device that it pretty much tricks whatever console you're using into thinking whatever device you're using is for that console. You can do that with PC-based things like eye gaze. It's a little bit trickier, but for someone who really wants to game and is dead set on gaming on the PlayStation 5, Xbox, or their specific console, there are workarounds for that using adapters. For simple setups on the website, I do have a list of all the adapters of different ways to get all the major adaptive controllers to work on the different consoles and which adapters you need to get to get your adaptive controllers to work on those consoles. For more complicated setups, it is more individualized. Like if somebody wants to use eye gaze or something similar to that, typically PC is the easiest thing to do. So if that setup did work best for someone, I probably would recommend more so PC gaming, but there is ways to get eye gaze to work on console games as well. It's just a little bit more difficult since the screen that they're using eye gaze on needs to be the screen that they're playing on as well. So you need to be able to reflect their game onto their computer screen and then also get their computer-based hardware working through their console too. So it's a little bit trickier, but there are ways to do it. I don't have enough time to go over the instructions on how to set it up, but there are ways to do it. But in certain situations, like the more complicated ones, I would recommend more PC-based. But if it's just a Xbox adaptive controller or one of the other adaptive controller setups, there's a million ways to get them to work on the different consoles.
That's so helpful, Drew. That's really important information. We are at time, so I'm gonna ask Trinity to drop the professional development link in the chat. So if there's anybody who does need to leave right now, you can snag that before you go. But then also, Michael, did you have anything you wanted to mention related to that compatibility?
Yeah, Microsoft, the Xbox and the PlayStation both have really good apps that are in Windows. And if you have a controller in your home and it's on the same network, it has to be on the same network, but you can open up the app on Windows, either the PS5 app or the Xbox app, sign into your account, and then you can stream the game. It will play on your controller, but it will stream onto the device that you have the eye gaze on. So there are some things that you can use to make it a little simpler. Nintendo, you're basically talking what Drew is talking about with the hardware. It can be done, but you have to do it through hardware attached to your device, and it's much more complicated.
That's great.
And then I
Perfect.
dropped
So,
the link
go
in the
ahead.
chat. Oh, I dropped the link in the chat to the part on the website. It's the controller connect tool where it tells you which adapter you need to get different hardware components connected with different consoles.
Perfect. So in light of time, it is 1:30 Pacific time, 4:30 Eastern time. I know some of you need to leave. You are welcome to leave. We still do have a few questions in the chat. So I am fine with staying on and answering those questions. If anybody is able to stay, you are welcome to stay. We will kick everybody off here in just a little bit, but we don't have to quit doing that at this time. I do want you to know that I am going through and trying to grab all of these links, and we'll make sure that they go out to you in the link in email that's going to have a link to this recorded message as well as all of these links listed. So I am grabbing them, and I appreciate everyone putting them in, which is absolutely lovely. I'm going to back up just a little bit. Thank you all for your links about different quad sticks, type of those. I've got those included. Um, uh, I've got 7 Mile. Thank you, Antoinette. Spiro has a question. Spiro's question is there a good configurable? Okay, I don't know what this is, Spiro, but I'm sure other people do.
On-screen
OSK.
keyboard.
Oh, on-screen keyboard. Thank you. Is there a good configurable on-screen keyboard for Windows? Native, not Toby. Does anybody have a recommendation for that? If you do, you are welcome to unmute and share. So please do so. Anybody have one?
I would love to know if there's a good one too. I haven't found one. I do use Communicator 5, and I like to program, so I'm currently programming assembly language for Intel, and I created my own custom keyboard to make it a little bit easier to program, and I use that. I did that through Communicator 5, and then I run my assembler through Communicator 5. So I know you can make custom keyboards through them and basically have them do anything you want. I hope somebody has an answer because I've never seen a native one that's customizable.
Antoinette did say, I'm aware of soft type by Origin.
I'm getting the link, Trinity.
She's got it. She put it in there
Oh,
for us.
perfect. I see it now. Thank you. Thanks, Antoinette. Not
But
super
she said it's not
customizable.
super customizable.
I was
Okay,
trying to
so
find that name. So I actually used that years ago. That's a pretty old one, but it does work. And
okay.
I also have clicking, like dual clicking, double clicking has another role, but I'll use that. That's really good.
Okay, so that is one of those that is I'm going to put out there to this community to say, if you find an on-screen keyboard that is customizable, please come back to us at Bridging Voice and share it. We will then make sure to update these links. So we will keep this up to date with any information that comes in after this. So please, and if you're on YouTube listening to this, reach out to us and let us know if you know of a native customizable on-screen keyboard. Perfect. Okay, let's go down a little bit further. Sophie shared the Evo controller, which we've got, which that is shared. Drew has a link to that as well in his information, as well as we have that in there. Makers Making Change has source options for joysticks that you can build. Thank you for that share. We've got that one listed. Drew put his Connect tool in there, which is amazing. Drew has a ton of stuff on that website, so please, you're going to want to go check that out. I can't say that enough. Antoinette, thank you for all of those. Antoinette said there is a free trial that is available for that soft type keyboard as well. Charlie says that he's customized his Windows Control keyboard, not TD Control, but Windows Control as well, as another option for that also. So that is all of the questions in the chat at this time. Did we have any more pre-requested ones, Abby?
We
Go
did have
ahead.
a few, but some of them are kind of big picture questions. So we certainly, Drew, I don't know how much time. Do you have a little more time? Okay, and then Michael, Lynn, Will, it looks like you're still with us, Monica and Juan. Okay,
Yeah, drop off
so
when you
there
have to,
was,
please.
what's that? Sorry.
I was gonna say, drop off when you have to, if anyone has to leave.
Yes, absolutely. So this big picture question I thought was kind of interesting. Mackenzie asked, I'm wondering if AT professionals have brought game developers to the table to talk about how to incorporate accessibility into game designs themselves, or if there are video games specifically designed with this in mind. And so, Drew, I'm wondering if you have ideas about this, and then also our ambassadors, if you've ever heard or talked to anyone about design of video games for people with disabilities or different abilities.
Yeah, there's certain companies that are much better about it than others, and there's a lot of newer games that have come out more recently that have integrated much more accessibility features. Some examples would be The Last of Us Part 2 is probably one of the most accessible games they've made. Forza's integrated a ton of different accessibility features in. So a lot of those games now are integrating accessibility features in from the beginning, especially for certain things like vision things, vision-based accessibility settings really need to be built into the game from the beginning. And a lot of those games are building both like motor and vision and other accessibility tools into those types of games. The tricky thing about accessibility tools within games is that it's up to the game developer, obviously, and there's a ton of different game developers out there, both big name ones and also indie game developers. So not all games will have the same built-in accessibility features. But there are different tools online now through multiple organizations where they kind of outline different accessibility features that should be built into games. Able Gamers has one. I think Xbox has their own. And there's one called the Game Accessibility Guide that is also another tool. But there's a lot of tools out there. So people are thinking about it. It's just not something some organizations can afford to do. And then it's also something that maybe isn't as prioritized by certain organizations as well. But there are game developers like Ubisoft who are doing a really good job of it.
David put in the note, and David, if you want to speak, please we welcome it. David said, I am a game developer, and part of my focus is on making our games more adaptable. So please share if you'd like to.
Sure. I work on a race car game called iRacing, and a lot of our focus is, my focus is making us more compatible with the controllers and the features that people need to drive. Um, in our game, it's mostly people who can't use their legs, but we certainly have people using eye gaze and mouth joysticks. So, I mean, I'm here because I'm looking
Want
for
to
more
share a link?
feedback.
Yeah. Do
Oh,
you want to
sure.
share a link to your game? We
It's
welcome
it's
that.
it's kind of a hardcore sim racing, so it can get intense. But yeah, I mean, that's a big part of my work is to make sure more people can play.
I'm sure there are some people on here who are into hardcore racing games, so this will be
Right?
great.
Yeah. Here's the thing I want to say about this. We've talked towards the end a lot about these hardcore racing games, but I don't want anybody to lose sight of those games that we shared at the very beginning. Like, for example, Monica's games that she shared, such as, just the finding and searching games. I think those of us who have used eye gaze or have tried to teach someone to use eye gaze can appreciate how important and how useful that game can be to look for those objects and to learn those skills without the extra added component of dispelling. Like, I forget who may have said it. Maybe it was Antoinette. And if it wasn't, I want to give someone else the credit of just spelling gibberish words or just spelling words for no reason or just talking kind of into the air without any purpose. The ability to learn an important skill and do something enjoyable, such as playing a game at the same time, cannot be measured. Like, it's absolutely wonderful. So while we're talking about all of these really fun games, like these big important games, as we would say, or intense games, do not forget about these other games. They are just as important and can be just as intense for somebody who's learning to use eye gaze. So we have really shown this spectrum. And if for some reason, because you've forgotten what we were talking about an hour and 42 minutes ago, don't forget to go back and look at this recording and realize the importance and the impact of those games, which I think is awesome. Shawn says, well, it is definitely possible to do things like hover in Unity and natively in Swift UI for iOS and iPadOS, but I don't see a lot of development in the hover. Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that, Shawn. I think we'll kind of keep our eye out for that. Omar has another question. Are there are there built-in controllers online within for Accent to stream from and control my Xbox? So Accent is PRC device. So you're asking about a PRC device. So are there built-in controllers for online or within your PRC device to control your Xbox? I don't have an answer to that. Drew, or if we have any of our PRC fellows here on the screen with us?
There's nothing built into an eye gaze device to control your Xbox, but there are ways to interface your eye gaze device with an Xbox. There's external devices you can get, and then you'd probably have to download some external softwares onto your device to interface it with your Xbox. But so we already kind of talked about some of the eye gaze softwares, there's I think it's like, I forget what it's called, something Iris, but it allows you to use eye gaze to control games and play games as well. But some of those eye gaze programs you could download onto your device as long as you can download external softwares onto it. And there's ways to interface your Xbox onto your screen. So it's possible, but it's complicated.
Omar, are you using eye gaze with your accent?
Head
No.
tracking.
I was gonna say,
Mhm.
yeah, is that your head
Yeah.
tracking, Dot? Okay.
Yeah, I can see your head tracking.
So,
Yeah.
There it is.
And for those of you who don't know, we're talking about the reflective dot on Omar's head, right between his eyebrows. That is his reflective dot for his head
Okay,
pointer or head tracker.
that's
and
awesome. And
head tracking would be similar. You'd have to get something that would capture your mouse movement on your screen and then convert it to your Xbox as joystick or different button controls, and then you'd have to get your Xbox screen projected onto your device as well. So it's tricky. There's multiple steps to it, but it is possible.
I wonder too, Omar, do you use, and I have zero idea, so I'm like throwing things at the wall, but do you, with the accent, I know there's a way that you can control your computer, like your accent becomes the mouse and the keyboard for a computer. Is that how you're accessing computer things right now? So I wonder if you would actually mirror your Xbox onto your computer screen and then use your controls from your accent to control it there.
Yeah. So in the light of time, I am going to cut us off because I think we could probably talk all day about
For
this.
sure.
But I want to bring you back to a few things. Number one, please remember you're going to get a chance to review this on our YouTube channel going forward. Please also remember that Lynn, who or just said goodbye to us, also reminded everybody that every Tuesday we have open office hours at Bridging Voice. You are welcome to come into open office hours and ask questions. And our ambassadors who you see here today, so Michael and Will and Monica and Juan, and Lynn, our ambassadors. Shawn, I think, is our honorary ambassador. You're not one, Shawn. Shawn is
He is
also there. Oh, is he
he is an
ambassador?
ambassador. Not he didn't do the gaming presentation, but he is an ambassador. Yep.
Ambassador.
And
So all of
Charlie, and
these,
we've got a few more.
yeah, so Charlie is also there as well. These individuals, as well as our Bridging Voice team, a couple of us usually from our Bridging Voice team, are on that call on Tuesdays. You are welcome to bring questions. You are welcome to say, hey, I have a client who wants to game. I need help. Or, hey, I need help as as an individual. Or, David, like in your case too, if you want to bring a question to the ambassadors, show something and say, can I get some feedback from users? You are welcome to come to that open office hours and everybody kind of work together to find solutions just to continue to make us bigger and better. So at this point in time, I am going to say what I always say is if you are watching us on YouTube, please like and subscribe for our channel. Thank you so much for joining us here today. I am going to stop our recording.